Manipulating data in Excel begins with knowing how to reference cells. This involves using cell coordinates to extract the specified cell's value. You can reference individual cells, a range of cells, and entire columns and rows. As you can see here, we have two tables representing the expenditure for London and Paris sites. We want to reference cells from these tables and place them in the below list. The first item on this list is Tablet Expenditure Paris site. We could copy and paste it, but it's much better practice to reference cells. To do so, first activate the cell from the list by clicking it. We then need to insert an equal sign, as every formula in Excel must begin with one. Then click the cell to be referenced, which for us is Tablet Expenditure from the Paris table to the right. As you can see, Excel will display the cell coordinates, which is I3. If you know the cell coordinates, you can type them manually. To perform the action and reference the cell, simply press Enter. And as simple as that, we have successfully referenced a cell. This is useful because if the value of a cell changes, any cells referencing it will update accordingly. For example, if we change Tablet Expenditure from the Paris tab to 150,000, and hit Enter, we can see that the below list updates too. This is why we reference cells instead of simply copying them. We can reference multiple cells. The next item on our list is R&D costs for flat screen TVs from both tables. To reference multiple cells, we follow essentially the same process. First click the referencing cell and enter an equal sign. Then select the first cell from the left table. And because we are performing addition, we need to enter a plus sign. Lastly, we need to select the corresponding cell from the right table. Hit Enter to perform the calculation. As you can see, we have successfully referenced multiple cells. The next item on our list is Varia Expenditure Paris. We can reference a range of cells using the sum formula. The sum formula's basic function is the addition of cell references and values. Select the referencing cell and insert an equal sign. Then enter the sum formula. This will add all the numbers in a range of cells. Double-click it from the preview to insert it. Note an open bracket will also be inserted. With the formula inserted, we can then click and drag over the range of cells we want to calculate. After these have been selected, close the brackets and hit Enter. When referencing a range of cells, we can select both rows and columns. Our next item is London Expenditure. Following the same steps as previously shown, we can calculate the full range. Select the referencing cell, enter an equal sign, followed by the sum formula. Click and drag over the range of cells. Close the brackets and hit Enter. And again, if we update a referenced cell, let's change this to 2 million. The referencing cell will update accordingly. We can also perform operations over multiple non-contiguous ranges. Next, we want to calculate the R&D costs from both Paris and London. Enter an equal sign followed by sum. But because we are referencing non-contiguous cells, we need to insert another open bracket. We can now select our first range of cells from the London table. We should then close this bracket and enter a comma to separate the ranges. We then do the same for the Paris range. Open brackets, select the range, and close the brackets. Lastly, we must remember to insert a second closed bracket for the sum formula. Hit Enter to perform the calculation. Let's do that process one more time for the total costs of both sites. Enter an equal sign, followed by the sum formula. Insert an open bracket and select the first range. Then close the bracket and insert a comma. For a second range, we need to insert open brackets once again and select the cells. Then close brackets for the range and then formula. hit Enter to perform the calculation. We can even reference entire columns. Like before, enter an equal sign and sum formula. Then, rather than selecting cells by clicking, we can insert the coordinates manually. Type h:/h to reference the entire h column. As you can see, the entire column has been selected. Close the bracket and hit Enter to perform the calculation. So now any additional items added to column H will be included in the referencing cell. Referencing rows works in essentially the same way, but rather than using the above letters as coordinates, we use the left-sided numbers. This has been a basic overview of referencing cells in Excel for Office 365.